Hey guys, it's Layla and I'm back with a new video. So in this video, I'm so excited to record this one for you guys. This has absolutely worked for me and I hope that it will work for you too. I work in technology, so whether you are in any sort of industry, it doesn't matter. This will also apply to you when applying for jobs. So these are my 5 tips on how to be the perfect candidate for the job, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So tip number 1, the first thing you need to ask yourself is, what problem are you trying to solve? So before you apply for any sort of role, make sure you're actually passionate about it. Recruiters want to know that you actually care about the role that you're applying for and you have a solution to the problem that they are facing in that industry. For me personally, I work in tech as a software engineer, and I'm more geared towards the front end side of things. And a way I would personally answer that question is by saying that I want to help customers have better online experiences. I want to be able to make it faster for them, interactive, fun. I want them to be engaged and feel like they're having the ultimate customer experience online when purchasing clothes. I also want them to feel safe and secure so that they will purchase there again. So that would be my sort of what problem I'm trying to solve, and you can kind of gauge that that person is passionate about what they're talking about. They're interested in knowing that you know what the problem is. And the whole point of recruiters taking on people in any sort of job, they want to know that you can solve their current problems that they're facing within their company, within their teams that are in line. So having that foundation of what problem you're actually trying to solve will really help you to be the perfect candidate. So the next tip that is so important, guys, I can't stress this enough. I feel like we don't talk about this enough, and that is, what industry are you interested in? So this is such an important question, and I haven't really seen people ask themselves or ask other people this question, but it's so important because especially in technology, every industry is different, so they might solve a different problem depending on what the company values are and what the company goals are. This will help you to understand the problems that a lot of companies within that industry are trying to solve. So going back to the question of what problems are you trying to solve, if you actually don't know, if you don't have an idea of what kind of problems you're trying to solve, but you're really interested in a particular industry, read about it, read about that industry, read about the technology side of things if you're into technology, or any sort of role that you're after that's even outside of technology. Read about it. There's so many resources out there for you to learn about the news of what's going on with companies at the moment. Like, for example, for me in fashion, I should really read about what are the issues that a lot of fashion companies are facing in technology. Those are the conversations you should be involved in. Those are the sort of articles and news you should be reading up on, and that will help you to really have a great communication with the hiring manager and, you know, just the company in general. You want to know that you're an innovator, especially when you're employing someone new. You want them to bring in a new, fresh perspective on things. So definitely do your research on the industry that you want to get into. For example, for me, I work in the fashion industry, and I've only ever worked in the fashion industry and technology. What I have realized is, like, especially applying for jobs, when I apply for a fashion company, they're more likely to get back to me very quickly compared to an industry that is the total opposite, like a banking industry, for instance. And that's kind of how you should measure things. think about the industry experience that you already have and use that as your advantage, because it is experience. A lot of the time people just think, yeah, like you just need a technical experience and that's it. But if you actually have industry experience in a company under your belt, use that as your advantage. If you're someone that is a software engineer or an intern or any sort of role, really doesn't have to be in technology, but you're in a specific industry at a company, or you've had experience in other industries, you are more likely to be more competitive because you have several different industries on your back, or same industry for a couple years. You know, it's really gonna show the recruiter that you know, you understand the company culture, you understand what the business is trying to achieve. It's not going to be an environment that you're not used to, so definitely use that as your advantage. So my next tip is, what does the job role entail? So this is one of my favorite questions, because this is literally the whole point of applying for a job. And sometimes the way I see it, I just try to turn the table and just think of myself as the recruiter. If I'm looking at my CV, would I recruit myself? Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you have to see it from that perspective, or even just get a friend to kind of look at your CV. Like, is there anything lacking in it? Especially when you get a fresh set of eyes on how your CV looks, and if you're that perfect candidate, you need to test yourself and just look through it. So one thing I do as a strategy is I go on Glassdoor jobs. The Glassdoor does not sponsor this video, let me just say this, but you're gonna see that I'm really bigging them up. I just want to say shout out to Glassdoor, because honestly the user experience is great. What I noticed about their features is that when you apply for a job, you can see if someone is actively hiring, and that means that they're actually, you know, taking on interviews and stuff like that. They have all these like witty terms to show that if an employer is active or not. And I feel like this is such a great feature, because I find that a lot of companies that we apply for, sometimes they won't even answer for mum, or you know, they put out a job like a year ago, do you know what I mean, and it's not even listed anymore, but it's still there. Do you know what I mean? There's so many issues with like applying for jobs. You'll probably see like 15,000 jobs on the search, but really only 1,000 of them are actually open. So it's very deceiving. But what I love about Glassdoor jobs is that it actually shows you the recruiters that are active, and those are the only ones that I tend to apply for, because I know that I'm going to get a response, whether it is a good or bad one. That's just something that I just wanted to add there, and you should use Glassdoor jobs. So going back to what does the job entail, you need to think about the specification. So for example, if you have a specific role that you're trying to apply for, compare it to your CV, because the specification is literally the guidelines of the perfect candidate that they're trying to recruit. So when you look at that specification, think about the strengths and weaknesses that you have in regards to that specification. The way you'll be able to measure it up, that will help you to have confidence in applying for that job. Always try to make sure that you're regularly updating your CV. I find that sometimes, even myself in the past, I'll have that same dull old CV from the past, and I'm not gonna lie, like I think the way your CV looks also really depends as well, because if your CV is all over the place and it's not clear, it's too long, it's too short, doesn't really tell you who you are, or it's just not clear, then the recruiter is just going to pass over it and look at something else. So make sure that you have a clear CV, clear skills, that's kind of straight to the point but really good quality, talking about who you are and stuff like that. Obviously you don't want to talk about yourself too much, because that's the whole point of, you know, in-person interviews, phone interviews and all that sort of stuff, but it should at least you know, give the recruiter a great idea of who you are and your potential as that perfect candidate. Even if there's some technologies or some things that you feel like you lack in but you could learn quickly, you can literally learn it and add it onto your CV, especially when it comes to like technologies like that just people pick up on in a team. Like, you can easily learn that and add that to your CV, because most likely, even when people do know that, they need to learn the process again. So don't feel discouraged. Add that to your CV if you feel like you have the time to be able to learn it quickly. The next question is, how are you getting yourself prepared? So Glassdoor has a great section on interviews and reviews. So it shows you people that have applied before, how they found the job, the company. You know, when we apply for jobs, we shouldn't be hasty. We should actually want to work there. If there's people saying that, oh, the salary's too low, you know, management's, you know, rubbish, you know, all these bad things to say about a company, but you still want to work there, you need to rethink about why you want to work there, because company culture is so important and we need to care about these things. So that's one thing I like about Glassdoor, is the honest reviews as well as the interviews. So when you apply for a job, especially when it's like a technical interview that you're trying to prepare for and you're really like stressing over, it's so important for you to do your research, find out how people have found the interviews. Sometimes they are so nice that they would even show you the stages, like what kind of questions might come up. So really use that as your advantage to be prepared, and honestly you'll have so much confidence. There was one company, they had so many stages, but luckily there was one person that literally detailed everything, and I just felt like I was on top of everything. I felt like I was a step ahead. So definitely use that as your advantage, because honestly it will make you have so much self-esteem and be definitely well prepared to be that perfect candidate. The next question to ask yourself is, what do you know about the company? So a lot of people skip this part. Some companies don't really care that you know about the company, but I think it's always important just to prepare yourself a little bit. Go on the company website, read their about section, find out what they're about, what their mission statement is, what their goals are. You go on the company website, find out the latest news, the latest topic that they are talking about, and bring that up in conversation in your interview, so that you're always prepared. You know what's going on, you know the problems they're facing, you know the new, you know, stuff they're trying to bring on in their company, and I'm telling you they'll be very interested in what you have to say. To add to that as well, projects. If you're someone that wants to work in the technology industry, find out the projects that they've been working on recently. Talk about what you like about the project that they've done, what interested you about it, and talk about it. Sometimes they get you in an interview with the team, they might know a lot about that project. So having those like really nice flowy conversations, obviously they are testing you and they're asking you like, you know, what questions do you have for us? You know, this is where you get to show how interested you are in the company, in the role, and everything that they have to offer. And I'm telling you, you'll be perfect. And lastly, obviously I told you guys that I'm going to give you 5 tips, but I'm going to throw in one more question for you guys, just because, you know, I want to help you guys get the job that you want to get. And honestly, I really hope these tips help you guys out. But one thing that I feel like people might think, do you know what I mean, it's a bit obvious, but I feel like a lot of people miss it. I think the most important thing you should consider is, drum roll, are you a nice person to be around? And I feel like this might go over your head. you know, you might think, what is this girl talking about? But I'm telling you, being a nice person goes a long way, especially being around a nice person. You know, someone that is a software engineer, I'm going to work in a team 9 to 5 constantly. I'm going to be seeing the same people every day. I'm going to meet new people that I might work with in the day, and I have to be a nice person to be around, because if my team are not comfortable with me, you know, I'm not, like, I know there's people that are, you know, introverts, and that's fine. There's a lot of software engineers that are introverts, and other people in different roles are introverts. But if you do not know how to work well in a team, that also, and that comes across in the interview as well, and you're not showing that you like working in a team, and you're talking more about yourself and less about how you worked in a team in your previous companies, they might see that and just think you might not be cut out for it. So make sure you care about the team that you're in. You know, you're at least a bit social, where it's like, you know, if there's social events, like, you wouldn't mind going to the pub for one, or like just to chill with your team, get to know your team. I think it's so important to be social and just to be interesting to other people in the team, because although you're trying to be interesting to the manager, you also have to be interesting in the team. And I think one thing that recruiters probably check to see as well, especially when you meet some of the team members, they'll probably ask them like, oh, how do you find this person? So important to be nice to be around, because these are your colleagues. You're going to be solving problems together. As much as a lot of us like to solve problems on our own, we need to be able to have team working skills where we are able to work with other people, because 2 minds are better than 1. And I believe in networking, I believe in communication. I'm all about that. You know, I love talking to people, I love making friends with people, and personality for me goes a long way. And I've seen that in a lot of my interviews. They really care about the person. You know, a lot of companies as well, they always feel like, you know, we can easily develop you. Like, you might not have the best skills, or, you know, you might not be the genius of the team, but your personality goes far. And when a company cares about the personality, it just shows what their company culture is about, and it just shows the type of people they have in their company. So that's what I look for in a company, if they actually care about me as a person and what I can bring to the table, how I am socially, how I like to network, and all of that good jazz. So yeah guys, just be a nice person. Make sure that comes across in the interview. You know, these are the people that you're going to be with day in, day out. So yeah, that is definitely, and I think just to add to that, showing that you're a nice person, showing that you have a good personality should come across, because you might have a good personality but have a bad day. So make sure that you're mentally and physically prepared in that interview, showing your best self, showing your positive self, showing your good vibes, good energy, and honestly, they'll fall in love with you. So yeah, those are my 5+6 tips on how to be the perfect candidate for the job. I hope you guys really enjoyed this one. If you guys want any more sort of videos like this, please give a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.